What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lexalexus. Today it is match day 31 for the championship. It is time to start predicting all over again. It's always my favourite time of the week to get the camera on and to actually talk to you guys and start predicting this weekend's games. A great switch off for what we got to do in the real world, like I like to call it. So in terms of the prediction leagues, they've been updated. You can see them on the community tab. And in terms of the leader at the moment for the championship, we've got Charlie. For the Premier League, we have got Ethan. So well done to our two leaders of the current prediction leagues as it stands. All can still change this weekend. We've got a lot of games to predict, including 12 championship games today, which will be the main focal point. And right at the end, I'll also throw in my Premier League predictions as well. So we've got a lot of games to predict today, as always. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. If you just want to see help, please do hit that subscribe button because it really does help. Thank you guys so much for 1,600 subs. That's our newest milestone and I'm truly grateful. So thank you guys so much for that. Next target, 1,750 potentially. So guys, if you can support the channel, liking, subscribing, the target's 25 likes. Let's go for that. Again, you guys smashed it last time. Please also share the channel too because all these things really do help. But without any further ado, let's start predicting this weekend's games for the championship first. Let's start off with Birmingham versus West Brom. So, Birmingham had a bit of an eventful game in their last championship game, a 7-goal thriller against Swansea, a 4-3 away victory and a last-minute winner. I mean, you couldn't have a more unbelievable game if you can get one, and I don't think anyone predicted a 7-goal thriller, let alone a Birmingham last-minute winner. There was very few people that predicted a Birmingham win last week, so definitely a win that came out the blue, no pun intended, for Birmingham City there. And it was a crucial one as well because they were really struggling with their form at one stage as well. But hopefully for them, it could mean that they are starting to pull their form together. With West Brom, they had a really clutch win against Coventry in their last live game, which was exactly a week ago, a 1-0 victory against Coventry there. So a very tight game, but a game where they did manage to hold on for 3 points and could be a very crucial one as well. Against these two teams, I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I think Birmingham have improved. West Brom, obviously the in-form team. I think a lot of interest was on Carlos Corberán being linked with a Leeds United job. He's extended his contract at West Brom now, ending all rumours with Leeds United. So I think West Brom definitely have a bit of optimism for what has been a pretty bleak season and situation for the Baggies in general. So I think a bit of positivity for them really couldn't go at a better time for them. And I think with that unity, what I can only hope for West Brom's sake is that they continue their form. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. I think they're going to go through a little bit of form again. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Blackpool Rotherham. So, interesting once again. Blackpool played in midweek against Huddersfield Town. It was not an easy game for them. They went down to 10 men quite for a lot of that game actually. They fell behind twice, but they did manage to get a home point. Now, with Mick McCarthy taking over, he has only picked up, I believe, 1 or maybe even 2 points since he's taken over Blackpool. So still no win in the championship for Mick McCarthy yet. But I do think the performance for Blackpool has elevated a little bit. And I think this game against Rotherham is crucial. If they pick up 3 points here, they definitely give themselves a fighting chance not only to get them safe, but to drag Rotherham into it. So it's a real 6-pointer this game. Rotherham, on the other hand, they could really look at this game thinking, right, you know, this could be one of the very few games that can really test Rotherham to see if they are capable of being championship material. And they definitely have shown signs of that this season. So it's going to be a very interesting test. They pick up a really good away point in their last away game against Watford. So they're definitely capable of getting a good away result. As a prediction, I'm actually going to go for a draw. 1-1. I just don't see any of the teams edging it. I think they're going to cancel each other out. It won't be a particularly helpful result for either one of these teams. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Bristol City Norwich. So, Bristol City, all of a sudden now, it looks like that they've gone a little bit of form together. In typical streaky Bristol City fashion, they've now gone through 6 games unbeaten now, including their incredible FA Cup win as well against West Brom. They've got, I believe, Manchester City in the next round of the FA Cup, which will be very interesting for them moving forward there. With Norwich, they had a really good first couple of games with David Wagner in charge, but the first speed bump of his management came where they felt like very short against Burnley, losing by 3-0. I know the scoreline was pretty convincing, but I think the performance didn't really suggest a 3-0 defeat. So I think this game's really going to be important for Norwich to see if they can bounce back. I still don't think they're Premier League ready yet. I definitely think they still need a good amount of time for the players to adapt to the way that David Wagner wants to play. But there are improving signs, which I think is good. They're scoring more frequently. They're taking more of their chances, which is very encouraging. And I think that is their biggest strength. It is their attack. Their defence is less to be desired. They conceded 2 away against Coventry. And I think they're going to concede 2 against Bristol City again, because Bristol City, with their good form, they've been scoring more goals as well. So for me, I think we'll see goals. But I'm actually going to go for a 5-goal, 3-2 away win to Norwich. I think it's going to be really tight. Surprising myself that I'm not backing Bristol City here, but I feel like maybe the firepower of Norwich might take them over the line. So I'm going to go 3-2 Norwich. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Burnley versus Preston. So we've got a bit of a local derby between Burnley and Preston. Burnley, of course, really cruising at this stage. They did, however, play in midweek, so potentially they could be fatigued. And for what I saw, they had a pretty strong team. They started Nathan Tella. He actually got both goals for Burnley to beat Ipswich by 2-1. So I had a really fun time educating my office the threats of Nathan Tella and just reminding them how Ipswich lost down that game. It was actually quite humorous, to be honest. But they're going through a massive winning streak at the moment, and it just feels like that they're going to break all sorts of records if they carry on at this rate. They're 17 points clear of Middlesbrough, and that is a joke within itself. They can even extend that if they get a good result here. Preston, I've not given them too much hope because their form has been very poor recently. They've been really inconsistent, in all honesty, to be honest. They've had a loss and a win alternating in their last 6 games. So, because they lost their last championship game, maybe they're due a win. And it's clear to me that their away form is 10 times as strong as their home form. So, if Preston are able to get a result, it would be an away game. But this is top of the league Burnley we're talking about here. I think even with the short turnaround of time for Burnley, I think they still will have the capability to beat this Preston team. As a prediction, though, I don't think it'll be one-sided. I think it will be really close. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Burnley. I think it'll be really close. I think Preston might even take the lead, but I think we'll see another one of these Burnley comebacks. So I'm going to go 2-1 Burnley. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game today is Cardiff versus Middlesbrough. So, very interesting developments going on with Cardiff at the moment. Definitely at the moment they are really teetering of being into the bottom 3, and what a fall from grace it has been for Cardiff City in particular this season. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, they've had a huge uprising form, and you can tell that this squad was destined to perform well. They just didn't have a good mix, didn't they? But as soon as they found the right mix in Michael Carrick, they are playing some really good stuff actually at the moment. And Chuba Akpom is proving to be the player of the season for me so far. He's the top goal scorer, and he is having a season he will never ever forget. My fear is that, is he going to be a one-season wonder? I really hope not, because he's really actually fulfilling the form I expected him when, I saw him at Arsenal. He's been loaned out. I was expecting him to hit the ground running when he was first introduced with Middlesbrough 2 seasons ago. He got loaned out last year. Now he's back and he's proving to have his redemption this year. And I'm really pleased for him for that, actually. As a prediction here, I just think Middlesbrough scoring goals for fun at the moment. Cardiff have not been scoring many. Middlesbrough's defence has been alright, but I definitely would think that Cardiff could offer something. I think they can show some improving signs with Lamucci in charge now. But I'm going to go for a 3-1 away victory to Middlesbrough. I still think it'll be a pretty comprehensive win for Middlesbrough. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Coventry Luton. Now this, I think, is the closest contest between the two teams this weekend in terms of what games we've got. Coventry at home, we know how strong their record is at the Rico or CBS Arena, depending what you want to call it. Luton have been really consistent. I've got to be honest. They really have been so consistent. They've only lost one game in their last 5, which was a very tough game, actually, against West Brom, where they actually got into a 2-0 lead. So they have been close to faultless very recently since Edwards has come in as well. Wouldn't it be beautifully ironic if Luton have a better season than Watford after they dismissed Edwards so early on? It would be poetry in motion, but honestly, I just think Luton's squad, for what Nathan Jones took it to, is actually now reaching its potential. We're seeing how much of a good, well-oiled team it is, and I really am excited to see the future of this side. Coventry, of course, still showing some signs of improvement, trying to claw back into their form there in the lower mid-table at the moment. Don't think they're particularly put into some relegation threat, but if they go 3-4 games without a win, you never know, because we've seen such a tight gap in so many areas of the Championship this year, and poor form for 3-4 games could really be punishing if you don't back it up with a win or 3 points. As a prediction, I believe Luton have just been the better team compared to the two so far in this stage of the season and with their form. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to Luton, but it wouldn't actually surprise me to see if I see a Coventry win or even a draw. I think this game could really go either way, but I'm going to head for the side of Luton. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is QPR versus Millwall. So, QPR have only had 1 win in 14 games. That is relegation form, and that form for me is really concerning. To be fair, they've only had 1 defeat in 5, so they've been drawing many games, but they've just not been picking enough 3 points. They place a Millwall team where they had that exact problem last year, but they are able to be a bit more consistent. I mean, for instance, they've definitely got way more wins than draws this time, which wasn't the case last year. And with a good result here, they could find themselves in the top 6. They're only 1 point out of it. So it just shows you how much of a table is really close to a really big part of the table, of course. So Millwall could find themselves exactly where they want to be with a brilliant result here. As a prediction, something tells me we're going to get a draw in this game. I think with the attacking players, I think we can see something from QPR here. I think Millwall will be the favourites, and honestly, I feel like Critchley needs to really try and tinker the squad to the best way possible. But at the moment, they go through a tough patch, and I think this will be another game to just continue on that. So I'm going to go 1-1. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Sheffield United versus Swansea. So Sheffield United, likewise with Burnley, who are also right up there in top of the Championship. They played in midweek as well. They had to play a replay against Wrexham. Of course, it was a monumentous game last time. This time they played in Bramall Lane. Won by 3-1, and definitely some cutting comments by Billy Sharp at the end of the game and the whole team in general. But they live, they move, they go to the next game against Swansea, where it could be an interesting test, but I do feel the way with how Sheffield United play, for how they dictate play, and for how susceptible Swansea can be with their own game plan, I think Sheffield United may take advantage. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory. It may feel that I'm not really backing Swansea, but I feel like an early goal for Sheffield United, then the floodgates will open for me. So as a prediction, I'm predicting that thing will happen, and I'm going to say 3-0. Let me know what you think of that, though, in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Stoke versus Hull. Stoke this season have just been inconsistent, just typical Stoke really, to be honest. But this is a Stoke side with 4 defeats in their last 5, and Alex Neil has not been a positive trajectory with their points and their form, which really surprised me. You know, I thought Alex Neil, as a championship capable manager, I thought could potentially push Stoke in just a little bit of a better situation, because Michael O'Neill did at least manage to momentarily get Stoke into a good form and momentum and actually give them in a really safe position. But Stoke are just lingering near down the bottom of the table, and it is a major concern, especially with the fact that they lost key players like Sutar as well at the back. That could really prove to be costly as well. Hull, on the other hand, are going on a very, very late, potentially, playoff push. I mean, they are only 4 points off the playoffs now, which is incredible considering we were talking about Hull at the start of the season for being one of the favourites to potentially be in a relegation mix. Rosenior has more than turned Hull City around. He's galvanised them. He's got them playing with confidence, and it's brilliant to see for a young manager doing so well. As a prediction, I think Hull will continue on their way. A Stoke City side for me that just doesn't look like that they're going to fulfill it. I'm going to go 1-0 Hull. I think it's going to be tight. I feel like it'll either be a 1-1 draw or 1-0 to either one of these teams. I'm picking Hull based on their form at the moment, but let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. The next game to predict is Sunderland Reading. So, Sunderland have been hit with a very unlucky set of circumstances with their injuries. They also played in midweek FA Cup replay against Fulham. They did lose out by 3-1, but they did give a really good fight, to be fair. I actually felt they really did compete in that game. I wouldn't say they were unlucky. I do think the result was fair, but I actually think their performance definitely didn't warrant a 3-1 defeat, if that made sense. So I do think Sunderland are going in the right direction, and it's inspirational to see how far they've come, considering how much they were struggling in League One with the expectations weighing down on them. They face a Reading team where they're really struggling with their form right now. They're really starting to lose a bit of ground. They're winless in 6, and they're conceding loads and goals. So, I mean, they conceded 2 last time with their draw against Watford. I mean, arguably a really good comeback by them, but it's still 2 goals conceded. They conceded 4 goals against Stoke, 2 goals against QPR. Their defence is looking all over the place at the moment. As a prediction, though, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Sunderland. I think Sunderland still, with some players out, I think just have more options. Reading defensively don't look drilled. I'm therefore going to go for a Sunderland 2-0 win. But let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Watford versus Blackburn. So we were just talking about Watford. They drew their last game against Reading, and I do think some questions are going to start being asked about Slaven Bilic if he cannot get this team to be winning more games. You know, right now they're on 45 points, and they're not safe, Watford. If they go through another couple of games where they don't win, it's 3 games they've not won a game now, Watford. And you can see the ruthlessness of Burnley and Sheffield United pulling away. If you drop points for a long period of time, you're going to get absolutely punished and you're not going to catch up. And Watford are almost facing an impossible situation if they even have any ambitions of trying to get promoted in the top 2. Their best bet now is really to try and go out through playoffs, in my opinion. And they have got to do the hard bit, sustaining in there and staying in that top 6, where you've got so many teams eager to get in there. So I think it's going to be a really tough test for Watford. They face a Blackburn team where they played Wigan on Monday, and it was a very dull 0-0 draw, to be honest. So dull to the point that I didn't really make too many notes watching that game. Obviously, it was Sean Maloney's first proper game, really, as Wigan new manager there. Blackburn just struggling with their form. And I think, again, with this game, they're not scoring too many goals at the moment. I think it's going to be a Watford 2-0 win. Because one thing I'll pride with Watford, their home form has been quite good this year. And I think Blackburn now are going through a really sharp decline. Blackburn now are 7th, but it is only 1 win in 5. So I do see Blackburn going one way, and that is down from the Championship table. And it's sad because I felt they started so well, but I think now we're starting to see the cracks starting to show in that team. So I'm going to go 2-0 Watford. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Final game to predict, guys, is Wigan versus Huddersfield. Absolute carnage is all I can say with this. So by the time I'm recording, Huddersfield have not got a permanent manager yet. And I do have the sense that it's a panic sacking or dismissal, what I call it. You know, I would say a little bit similar to Wigan's dismissal for Kolo Touré, but I felt Kolo Touré's was a little bit more warranted. I think despite Fotheringham being disappointing, only picking up 2 points with a possible 6 available, it is still 2 points rather than 0, which is what some of the teams in the bottom of the Championship are still doing. It's not that they're going on a losing streak, but I think definitely they did not like the performance, the Huddersfield board, in the second half against Blackpool. The fact they had an extra man on the pitch for a lot of that game. They went ahead twice, but they gave away the lead twice as well. And I do think a mentality issue is on that. And I don't know if dismissing the manager this late on in the season is going to fix it. I do see it as a bit of a panic move by the ownership, to be honest. And I don't know if it's going to pay off or not. Wigan are only just trying to settle with new management as well. I mean, Wigan and Huddersfield, you know, you wouldn't want to manage either one of these teams right now, because right now they're doing the Watford effect, you know, breathe, and then you're dismissed as you're hired as well. So it feels like both teams are just really in a mess right now. Don't know what to get out of them. Both boards not very confident of surviving in the season. However, this game could be absolutely massive, and part of the dismissal for Huddersfield could be aimed, you know, hoping that the players are going to really go for it and potentially get 3 points here, because I think 3 points here could likely put Cardiff down in the bottom 3, replacing Huddersfield place. As a prediction, I believe in terms of performance, I think Huddersfield might edge this, you know. They have picked up a couple of away wins. Wigan have just generically at home been poor. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-0 away victory to Huddersfield. I think it'll be a very low scoring game, a very cagey game. So I don't think we'll see a lot of separating them. It could end as a 0-0 draw actually, but I'm going to stick to my gut and say 1-0 Huddersfield. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, those are my predictions for the Championship. Make sure guys you predict the Championship games in the comments down below so you guys can be entered into the Lexalexus Football Prediction League. And before I end the video now, as I do my outro, you can now see my Premier League predictions. And guys, make sure you predict those as well if you like, just so you can enter the Premier League Prediction League as well, a separate league in its own. But guys, I will have to wrap it up for today. It is 1 in the morning and I'm going to wake up at 6 tomorrow doing work. So the time is very limited when I do these things now. But I am keeping it going. It's been really tricky. I'm pleased to say, as terms of a mini update on my part, I've actually booked some holiday away, which I'm hoping might be able to allow me to recharge my batteries, because I've really been feeling overwhelmed. But it's been okay. I'm now still with it, and I'm hoping that I can start streaming soon as well, because that's one element I've missed, streaming. So we'll see what happens, and you know, I may have something up my sleeve for tomorrow actually, so keep your eyes peeled potentially. I'm not going to make any promises. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give the video a like if you're not done so, it does really help. Please do hit that subscribe button too, it really does help as well. And please share the channel too, all these things really do help. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for the end of this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care everyone.